Hello, my friends, and welcome to Real Relationship Talk Special Edition Faith Friday. I am so happy to have you here on today's show because I think that this conversation about purpose is probably one of the most important conversations that you will ever have within yourself. I know that there are so many people who ask this question. What is my purpose? And really what we're getting at is what is the purpose in all of this? Why am I here? What is the meaning of life? What is the meaning of my life? And so I wanted to dedicate an entire episode to this question. Now, I'm going to try to do this, you guys, in 10 minutes, okay? This is a passion point for me. I love talking about purpose and I love helping people to fulfill their purpose. So I can be very long-winded in this topic, but today we're going to do this in less than 10 minutes. So I came across a stat by Lifeway Research in 2021. And the stat says that 57% of people in the U.S. are searching for more meaning and purpose. That's the majority of us, you all, of people are searching for what is this life all about? Another stat says that 10% of people would say that they know what their purpose in life is, but only 5% say that they are following that purpose on a regular basis. The truth of the matter is the vast majority of people live very purposeless and meaningless lives. Now, hear what I am not saying. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I am not saying that people don't have meaning and that people don't have purpose, but the majority of people feel that way. They don't know what their purpose is. They don't know if their life has any meaning at all. And so what we do is we throw ourselves into work. We throw ourselves into relationships. We throw ourselves into busyness and distractions because we cannot figure this thing out. And I want to tell you something that you're in good company because the wisest man that ever lived, if you follow biblical history at all, you know is King Solomon. Now, King Solomon was King David's son, and the Bible says that he was the wisest man that ever lived, and he was also an incredibly wealthy king. Solomon actually wrote the book of Ecclesiastes, and I'm going to read you a little snippet of something that he read, or that he wrote, excuse me. So in Ecclesiastes chapter 2, we're going to read verse 9 through 11, and this is Solomon speaking here. He says, "So I became greater than all who had lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. Anything I wanted, I would take. I denied myself no pleasure. I even often found great pleasure in hard work, a reward for all of my labors. But as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless, like chasing the wind. There was nothing really worthwhile anywhere." Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I read that, it's kind of depressing. Because this was a man who had everything that you could ever want in life. He had all the wealth in the world. He had 700 concubines and 300 wives. A concubine is basically a side chick who lived in the palace. Okay, he had all these women. He had the money. He had the success. He had the fame. He had the resources. He had the connections. He had all of it. And at the end of his life, he's saying, it's pretty meaningless. It doesn't really mean much. And I feel that this is how so many people live today, where we accumulate wealth and status and friendships and networking, and everything is about like the next biggest thing and bigger and greater and faster. And it's all meaningless. We're all like on these little treadmills trying to figure this thing out called life, asking ourselves, what's the point of all of this? So I'm going to give you all today what I believe is every single human being's purpose in life. I know we all have different purposes. Nope, I don't believe that. I believe at the end of the day, the foundational purpose for every human being is this: to know and enjoy God and to make him known through your life. That's why I believe that we were created. I don't believe that we just appeared here out of thin air. And that just because your mom and your dad loved each other or had a relationship, that you just kind of appeared and your life doesn't have meaning. I don't believe that. That's not what the Bible teaches. The Bible teaches that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. The Bible talks about how God formed you in your mother's womb and that he knew you before you were ever even formed. Go read Psalm 139 if you want more information about that. So if I were holding up, let's say this pen, I'm holding a pen for those of you who are not watching this on YouTube. If I'm holding this pen has a purpose. It was created for a reason. Its creator had in mind what this pen would do. This pen, its purpose is to write. That's what it was created for, to write things down, to communicate something in writing to someone else. Now, I might take this same pen and I might use it to put my hair in a bun and twirl it and put my little pen in the bun. I might use this pen to chew on it if I'm bored. I might use this pen to throw at my dog if he's not listening to me and I'm trying to get his attention. I might use this pen for a whole bunch of different, quote, purposes. But its main purpose is to write. Every single pen that was created has the same purpose. I believe every single human being, though many of us have different talents, we have different giftings, we have different accomplishments, we have different likes and dislikes, we have different ways that we express our purpose. But our purpose is to know and enjoy God. And I add that to enjoy because not just to know God, like facts about God, but to really have a real relationship with God that is vibrant and that's growing, where you can find out who is God, who am I, and then why did God put me here on this planet? Which brings us to our second part of purpose. I believe that God didn't just create you just for himself, or he would have created you and put you in heaven. But I believe that he wants you to reflect his image in the world. And the way that you reflect that image in the world is through your different assignments. So let's take me. I am a speaker. I am a teaching pastor. I am a marriage and relationship coach. I'm a podcast host. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a friend. The list goes on. I'm a business owner, right? I have all of these different assignments in my life. But none of those assignments are my purpose. If God forbid something were to happen to my family and I'm no longer a mother and a wife, does that mean that I no longer have a purpose? Of course not. If I'm no longer speaking, or if I'm no longer writing, if I'm no longer doing this podcast, does that mean that I no longer have a purpose? Of course not. So those are all of my assignments. And in those assignments, I bring God pleasure and I actually reflect his image in the world. So I want you to consider, what are the assignments in your life and how can you use those assignments to know and enjoy God and to make him known throughout your life? I believe that when we discover that, we have locked and loaded our purpose and we will live lives of meaning. We will not have to write to people and say, this is all just meaningless, because we'll find great meaning when we are operating in our God-given purpose and reflecting the image of God through our various assignments. So thank you so much for listening to this episode today. I would love to hear your feedback and your take on the whole purpose conversation. You can always reach out to me on Instagram at Mrs. Dana Shea. And I pray that today, your Friday, and the rest of your weekend is full of faith. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.